It's DJ Black.
DJ Black's podcast with the one and only Gibrillville in the house. It's been a minute
DJ
coming.
Black, Charlie.
You know,
It's been a good minute coming.
Charlie, I think I remember the time you've been country hopping.
And now.
You know,
Yeah.
that we spoke. You were in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and then you moved to was it Sierra Leone,
Yeah.
and then came to Ghana,
Yeah.
and then moved to Lagos.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happening, man. What they happy?
Charlie, like they say with their house, no matter where.
And there's a new look too. There's a new look to like the whole Alaji vibe.
Mashallah.
Charlie. But Charlie, I know
great.
you know you've been busy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go straight to the point. What's the current project you're working on?
Current project is called The Young Black Family.
Is it like an EP album?
Yeah, it's an
or
album.
the singles?
It's an album.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an album. It's a trilogy. So it's a 3-part album. Comes in reggae, Afrobeats, and hip hop. Each part talks from my perspective, my journey throughout, like you said, all these places I've lived in.
Right.
And I guess from my point of view, the way the black family changes under different cultures, different locations, you know, politically, emotionally, financially, you know, I kind of dissect it in every angle and tell stories, which is what I love to do.
But I know you have a lot of history with, you know, when it comes to recording albums and with several awards from several places. But with this current project, I know that you mentioned about the influence across West Africa.
Yeah.
Is that what is that gonna portray?
It's solid. That's the loudest.
How many
voice.
songs?
Each trilogy has 10 songs.
Hmm?
Each trilogy.
So
each album has 10,
so
10,
30.
10s. Yeah, so you're looking at 10 rap songs.
And how long have you been recording this? Like,
I can say some of the songs started before I left Brooklyn, because I've always had that idea of, like, you know, captivating black communities. You know, I've always been very pro-African.
so is it like a compilation of some of the songs you've done earlier?
No,
These are all new shit.
These are all new records, but then there are 2 main records that I've done earlier that I released on EPs.
Which ones?
Which are kind of like big statements in my career.
Which
Long
one?
Way. And
Was it like 2 singles?
yeah. So those I've carried them onto the project because they fit perfectly as, you know, pillars to the young black family.
So Charlie, so if people want to cop the songs, you know, the album,
Yeah.
is it just online or
Yeah,
you know you got
online,
videos out and all that?
Online, offline. You know, some
I
of
gotta
the
pump
singles.
you gotta be watch some of the videos we play it on it.
Some of the singles like Can't of Soda, that was shot in Sierra Leone, the video. Very interesting idea. Kind of Soda talks about time in confinement. So again, you see young black family in America, a lot of young black families, you know, whether you like it or not, or one way or the other, you pass through confinement for some dumb reason or whatever, you know. So I felt like that's a very important point to address. But then the young black family in Africa, that kind of confinement is not a norm. You know,
Okay.
you have to really go out the way. You know what I mean? So then you see, you know, the way in different communities, you know, when we have certain things, you know, prominent in the society, it can tend to attract the problem.
Right.
Like all these huge incarceration, you know, facilities in America. So now we got to fill them up. You know, you don't have that discussion in Africa. You really have to be some arm robber or something to find yourself there, you know. So I think it's important that the African families or future youth are aware of what is on the other side.
But don't
And
you think that
likewise-
I think that's a good way to go if you look at the current state of the world, where there's a lot of diversity, freedom of speech. People want to be known as this, people want to be known as that.
Yeah.
You know, it's in a way it sort of diffuses the whole African family.
Yes.
You know,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think way like far beyond it being an African family.
Right.
You know, that's why I use the word black instead of Africa to show that we're under a bigger umbrella.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, our families are all over the world. Now also when you break down the young side of it, you know, in Africa is looked down on to be young and start a family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you need to get to a certain point.
you need to get to a certain point.
So
I'm actually saying on this album.
These songs addresses these issues, but I'm gonna be asking you: are they strictly what we all know as Afrobeats, or they're different vibe?
No, like I said, when you're on the Afrobeat, see what I did is because I'm a multi-genre artist. You know, my past albums tend to. One song is reggae, then the next song is rap, then the next song is this, then the next song is that. You know, I always made it in one melting pot. But with maturity as a musician,
right,
I've noticed that, you know what, when I want to listen to reggae music and I put on a reggae CD, I only want to be in that zone.
Right.
You know, if I want to listen to rap and I put on a rap album, I only want to be in that zone. You know, so with that in mind,
you categorize it.
At this time I said no, let me categorize the zones so that when you are in the Afrobeat zone, yes, it is Afrobeat.
So with the 3-disc or with the 3-part, you know, the trilogy.
Yeah.
Are the genres mixed up, or like first trilogy is this, second trilogy is that?
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. I treated my listeners like I would treat myself. So I said no, when they're listening to reggae, just let like me, let it be reggae. I saved reggae for part 3. Because I started music as a rapper, I felt like, let's start with rap, you know.
So the name of the trilogy is
Young Black Family.
Young Black Families. DJ Black Podcast. You're watching, you're listening to my man Gibrillville. We're out here. We're talking about his new trilogy, which is out in stores. You guys got a copy. Now we're going to go straight to your journey of as an artist. I know. Did you start with Kubolo?
Yes. I started with Kubolo because I kind of started.
Okay, so
before Kubolo, there was.
Okay, so this is how I knew. I think I don't know whether I stumbled. Was it the use MySpace and I stumbled across a cartoonish thing with you and Kubolo. I'm not too sure. You could correct me. So that is where I saw Gibril, you know, and then later I saw Kubolo, you know, on MySpace.
Yeah.
You know, with his green something album, green passport, or green card.
Green card at the
you
time.
know, and then you had also, you know, but then when we met in Brooklyn, then you know, you sparked the memory and told me, but you know, they remember I say, Charlie, me and Kubolo, then we started that. So tell me that journey of how we started with Kubolo. Yeah. Back then, was it rap?
Back then it was rap.
Like hardcore Yankee boys.
It was rap.
Yeah.
It was rap for
Timberland
breakfast.
And G's.
You understand? Baggy, psyched out. I mean, Durags. I still keep the Durag anyway. But yeah, we were like, you know, it was interesting because Kubolo was already in Texas, right? And I was in Ohio. You know, and I was already like Gibril, you know, Gibril the African. You know, that kind of happened. That kind of led us. I think before we both left Ghana, we used to listen and we used to write together hard. You know what I mean, and always freestyle. That's one thing we have in common is our love for freestyling. So once I got to the States. Still wanted to keep doing the music thing. He was already ahead of me. He already had started recording, you know, so it was only normal that we linked up and decided that let's do this as professionals, and then we came up with the name Rapscallions. And that was
rap what?
Rapscallions. Oh, yeah, we were just like we gotta eat rap. Every hot beat we want to eat it.
And that was like a good thing. So did you release an album?
And we released an album way later in the game. Like the album was recorded and shelved, and then life, you know, took us both ways, different ways. He came back to Ghana.
It wasn't really. It's not out. Nobody can get it.
You can get it. It's on what do you call it? Bandcamp. It's called
Bandcamp. Yeah,
it's called Illegal Immigrant.
Hey,
serious raps. Serious.
So
raps.
then, you know, you guys separated.
Yeah, we just like
that's American life for you.
No, not even in America because he left. and came to Ghana.
Okay.
And I was still there.
So you separated when he came to
Yeah,
Ghana.
so when he came to Ghana, there was
and then you were still releasing EPs and
yes,
albums.
and then I just kind of like progressed into Gibrillville the African as solo artist.
Right.
I'm like, I have to learn how to do these things on my
your own. So how many songs, how many albums did you release then when as a solo artist?
As a solo
before you came to Ghana?
Oh, before I came to Ghana, let me just say 5 albums and 3 mixtapes.
Fine, so that's like 8.
Yeah, that's about 8.
So if I gotta use my head to calculate, that's gonna be about 60 songs.
Yeah, but more, because my first mixtape had 27 freestyles on it.
So 60 and above.
You understand? So I always kind of like was that kind of artist
right.
that gave a little bit more than 12 songs on the album. This is my first time confounding to like 10 songs. I'm like, you gotta be strict, but like, yeah, right, you got 3 episodes. It's not really.
So that journey as a solo artist, back then, was it like rap or it was a mixture? Because I remember you were performing with live bands.
Yeah, it started with rap, and then the more people I worked with, the more open I was to ideas. You know, slowly the band came around. I was like, okay, let's try this. I immediately just fit like a glove. And once that happened, I kind of like took the pedal off just rap inspired projects, and I went into musically inspired projects.
So that's when,
you know,
I think that was when we met in Brooklyn?
Yeah, that's when we met in Brooklyn. That's when I put out, I just finished The Foreigner, JJC, was like my last studio album, you know, as far as just exclusively beats and stories. You know, once I started with Black Cadillac Seasons, you know, I got very musical.
How many seasons of that do you have?
We have 3 seasons.
3 seasons.
Yeah, 1 and 2 were EPs, and then
Microsoft
3.
and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And 3 was the LP. You know, which had a lot of, you know, heavy drums, sax. You know, a lot of musical elements to it.
Right.
You know, together.
Did you make some of the beats yourself, or it was?
No, I'm just in the, like, I'll be in a jam session with the band.
And
yeah, and then, you know, we'll pick up certain elements, and then later we'll all separate and then send the files to each other.
That's hard work.
Well, that's
or because you are jamming together, the vibe is already there.
Yeah, the vibe is already there. It's actually easier work because.
But you know, there are moments as an artist where you have to work with an artist long distance. How is that difficult for you?
No, really, I just got a project from, you know, an artist in New York last night.
Right.
I'm already done. Tomorrow I'll enter the studio and send it right back. It's very simple. You know, it's that one is easy. So
when you're putting down your songs, whether it's rap, reggae, do you with some artists? I'm just going to be a bit technical now.
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes we need to let people understand what goes into the work. Some
Yeah,
artists prefer, you know, penning down the words and then trying to find a beat to go with it. And some others prefer getting to the beat and then writing to it. Which one do you works for you?
For me, I don't think there's any beat out there that I have not already. I don't already have material sitting that I can find a way to create around it. You understand? I write so much that as soon as I hear a beat, I already know which lyric, what day, when I wrote it. I'm like, oh, I'll just go to my notepad. I'll go to where was I? Oh, I was in this country, and then I'll find the exact lyric, and then now I'll just massage it to the beat.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's very rarely that I will hear something and be like, oh, let me.
So you're like amoeba. You will just, you know.
Hey, Bluffalo.
Yeah, we know what it is.
Big English.
Hey, man, you know, we've been speaking with Gibrillville, talking about, you know, his EP, his journey, you know, but in terms of creativity, you spoken about the fact that, you know, you look at your journey and sometimes the situation or whatever is happening, and then you try and, but I'm sure usually there's an underlying story.
Yeah.
Every artist has an underlying story. Like, you know that if you hear this artist, he's always crying. You know, always true. There's some artists who always complain.
You know what somebody just told me 2 days ago? He says, Gibril, you don't have like you're not emotionally relatable. Like when we see Shatta, we know yes he's this. When we see Black Sheriff, we know he's this. Like Gibril, like I don't know, I haven't found it yet for you. And I'm like, oh shit. Is that a thing? Excuse me. Is that a thing to be emotionally? I say, Omo, you're sitting in front of me. We are jiving. We are vibing. Isn't that why you're here? It's because of the way you relate to me that you've left your house to come and have breakfast.
Exactly.
But today you're telling me you're looking for my. He says, I see your billboards, and I'm like, that's G. Like, what am I? So what does he evoke?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very interesting conversation, I would say now, because then he also said he's like, sometimes I miss the old Gibril.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And then I peeped
what is
that
the
out.
old Gibril?
Well, for him, the old Gibril is because now I am very
matured,
more than over matured. I know I've carved myself now. I know.
You know who you are.
You understand?
Man,
yeah,
know thyself.
Yeah, know thyself. You can't stand for nothing. You understand? Right. You fall for everything. So, I guess because he's an old friend and he's been through, clumsy Gibril, the party Gibril, the this Gibril.
But this is a much more serious Gibril.
This Gibril is
extremely
Charlie, so.
This is GG Black's podcast. It's Gibril. The African families out there. Get it out of all stores. You know what I mean? We're gonna watch this video and we're right back.
It's DJ Black.
This song is dedicated to the youth worldwide. All my people in Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Senegal, Sierra Leone. I feel your pain and I see your struggle. Take it away.
I'm a Rasta man from Africa. Oh dread, see I'm a long way from home. I'm facing trials every day, you know me like.
It's DJ Black.
So, I mean, if you look at videos, I know that, in Africa, now it's easier to, to shoot videos, unlike back then. It's easier to get the technology, but the creativity to tell it nowadays is amazing. For you, what goes into your videos? Because, like you said, Gibril then and Gibril now, different.
You know what? Now I've learned to stop trying to wear all the caps as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, all the production you're seeing, I would say my input is maybe 30%, and if I can, 20%. Like, obviously, we go over the screenplay, I agree, I explain what direction, but as far as, costumes, wardrobe, and the person has to work, location, all of that, I do not involve myself. No. And I make sure that I have enough
But at the end of the day, so at the end of the day, you have a say in, the end product.
In the end product,
yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have a strong say in the end product. But, I don't control anything. I just, look at the budget, look at the treatment. Okay, yeah, these are all good. This is what we discussed. Let's go to work. I make sure I trust 100%.
So, songs are out, album is recorded in stores, video is out, there's promotion going and all that. But let's look at the current state of African music.
Yeah.
I think we are at the best times
100%
for African music. Now,
have you noticed that African musical videos are beating the rest of the competition, like music world, like American?
I mean, yesterday I was listening to the BBC and they were talking about the fact that they didn't even know that, in fact, Nollywood has even overtaken Hollywood in terms of the rate of movies that are produced. And they didn't even know that, Nigeria have been making movies as far as 1906 and all that.
Yeah.
And if you look at the history of Ghana, Ghana's film industry and Kwame Nkrumah's contribution. Look at it at, looking at from GIJ, GBC, and all those Ghana films that he put together. You realize that Africans, we've been doing this for a long time.
media
but now
industry.
we are in the best times ever. So for you, how are sales doing? Are they better than before, promotion wise? Are people listening than before?
100%. You know what Jason, my producer in Lagos, said to me at the beginning of our musical journey. This before we even did Kilo Day. You understand? He says after he listened to a few tracks, he says, "Gee, by the time me and you have released 3 songs, your whole Spotify platform will be day and night." Yes, when this year's Spotify wrap-up numbers came out, I said, with you. I say, yeah, hard guy. I said, look, like day and night, you understand? So, yeah, the landscape has changed. The terrain has changed musically. And even for, independent artists like me, because don't forget, I've been independent from day one for as long as we've known each other. And I can say that I look at where my streams are coming from, and like the top 5 countries, I've not even been there. You understand? So that means that it's definitely a great look for Africa right now. Being an African musician is a great look. Afrobeats
is out there.
Is
Can you
doing
imagine?
its thing. Is pushing the boundaries, which is good, because within Afrobeats now you even have, being as technical as I am, I can even listen to within Afrobeats. I can pick apart different drum patterns and different tempos. So even within Afrobeat, there's a whole different world in there. I know they're saying rap is dead in Afrobeat, but I just think they are not listening deep enough.
Gibril back then, Gibril now. What's Gibril? The future Gibril?
Like I like to call myself Baba G. Like the future Gibril is just creating platforms for the future generation to be able to, for offsprings to be able to grow from, creating wells for them to drink from, and making sure that this bridge, whether it's musical, whether it's agriculture, technology, just that it has that stamp on it, Africa. That's Gibril.
And that's how we're gonna end it. Africa, one love.
Boom, my brother.
It's DJ Black. DJ Black.